Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. This is part 3 of our triple header today. We didn't announce it, but it has been in the work for some time. We are joined by Sri Shekhar Iyer ji after a brief hiatus. Shekhar ji, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskaram, Shreyarji. Thank you very much. Nice to be back with your viewers and, of course, with you.
Sir, the pleasure is all ours. We loved listening to you. You are one of those people who has the compass very straight. You don't make any embellishments of what the actual news is. First question to you, sir, is Pawar never surprises, never fails to surprise. Let me put it that way. He is always having a googly up his sleeve, and looks like the new googly that he put, saying that there is no JPC needed for the Adani case. What exactly is happening behind the scenes, sir? Enlighten us.
Well, Shreyar, I think this is not just a googly. I think this is much more than that. And it has completely knocked the Congress, which was on a one-point issue of making this Adani, so-called nexus with the Prime Minister following that Edinburgh report. I mean, all these days they were, the Parliament was jammed. They were demanding JPC, and this was a single point agenda driven by Rahul Gandhi's. I don't know what you call it, but his complete obsession with this issue. And suddenly here, Sharad Pawar, turns and he does something that Congress never expected, because all along they were trying to show that it's a 20-party alliance which have come together, and it is Adani who has united the opposition. And that narrative has taken a big beating. Of course, today people are saying that Pawar and Gautam Adani are old friends. Maybe Pawar has some business interests, etc., etc. But the timing of it, Pawar, as you mentioned in the opening, that Pawar has never surprised. He can do somersaults faster than even any baboon. But what is important is, why has he chosen now? Because his entire political career, if you see, he has done all these somersaults. You know, you do not know on which side he is when, and but he knows which side of the bread is buttered, and the right time to do it. Now, this particular thing, because the whole Congress drive, driven by Rahul Gandhi's obsession, I must use this word, was just to make Adani the centerpiece of the opposition campaign, and he thought that he could take it all these 12 months. Now, what has happened is, now Pawar says that JPC is a meaningless demand. We should have taken up other issues like unemployment and other areas of governance where the Modi government has not scored well. Those were the issues that would. Sir, this is a feeling which is there in the Congress also. Even within the Congress party, they are forced to follow what the leader wants. And the leader has been insisting on this. Now, Pawar's statement, sir, is very clearly worded. He doesn't indicate that he is actually changing sides or he's supporting the Prime Minister, nothing like that. All that he says is, this whole thing is not getting us anywhere. Actually, he is articulating what many opposition leaders are already feeling, that this Adani issue is not clicking with the people. And all that questions that are being generated, outsourced questions that are read out by the Congress spokesperson day in, day out, they don't seem to, generate that kind of traction which is needed. Whereas there are other public issues which can immediately demand attention. So there has been a debate in the opposition party. Sir, one more thing you will notice, before Pawar openly saying, that, single industrialist should not be targeted. This is not the way, we don't do it. And we should not depend on a foreign report to target a particular industrialist. Because what Pawar said in the interview yesterday with NDTV was, we never target a particular industrialist. We want, there are reasons when we have demanded JPC. He himself mentioned the JPCs which he had chaired. And this particular, he says Supreme Court has already done it. Because one question that was asked, why did Nationalist Congress Party, Pawar's party, was backing this demand for JPC if he felt it was not needed? He says once the Supreme Court has stepped in, because Supreme Court has set up a committee. Once they have stepped in, what role we have played, and any JPC would have a larger presence of BJP members, would even be chaired by a BJP member. So we wouldn't have got anywhere closer to the truth. Sir, but overall thing, what I feel is, after the Bharat Jodo Yatra, then this disqualification, the focus that Congress wanted on Rahul Gandhi, and they wanted to keep that focus because the narrative was that Rahul Gandhi has been punished disproportionate to the offense by taking away his membership of Lok Sabha for the simple reason he has taken up the Adani issue. Now, a person like Sharad Pawar, having said this, having made this statement, it actually knocks off the Congress claim. And this is going to have repercussion in Maharashtra, where they claim that there is still an alliance consisting of Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray, the Congress party, and Pawar's party. Sir, before this, he spoke on Adani issue. We have seen how Sharad Pawar reacted to Rahul Gandhi in a constantly hitting out at Veer Savarkar. And we all know Veer Savarkar is an icon in Maharashtra and cutting across party lines. There are, people even still recall, even Indira Gandhi realizes that's why she even wrote a letter to that committee that was organizing a meeting to commemorate, his birth anniversary. Now, in Maharashtra, there is no dispute as to Veer Savarkar's contribution, his own personal struggle, particularly those years he spent in Andaman Cellular Jail. Now, there is no dispute as to the contribution of Veer Savarkar. So, therefore, Pawar made it very clear to Sonia Gandhi, look, this is creating problems. And the answer from Sonia Gandhi was, this is our ideology. You cannot contain us on Veer Savarkar. Then, Uddhav Thackeray spoke up. Sanjay Rao spoke up, then there was some kind of a patch up, and somehow the message was conveyed, at least don't break this up. Sir, now coming to Karnataka, now in Karnataka also Congress leaders have conveyed the same thing to Team Rahul. Please do not bring this Adani issue and make it a one-point agenda here, because in Karnataka, Adani issue is not the main issue, because there is no traction for Adani issue in Karnataka, because local issues are enough. The anti-incumbency factors working against the Bombay government, against the BJP government in Karnataka is enough tool, enough ammunition for us. So do not, they have been trying to tell Rahul, but then they organized this function in Kolar, where in 2019 he had made that speech, that why do all these thieves have Modi as surname, for which, the Surat court found him guilty and then he lost his membership of the Lok Sabha. They want to again hold a meeting there as a show of defense, and probably Rahul intend to repeat it. So that meeting is getting postponed, Shekhar Iyer ji, because it was earlier set for April the 9th, then it was shifted to 10th. Now I hear the new date is 16th. Now this is got tied up with 𝙤𝙬𝙗𝑆's desire to contest from two constituencies. He wants to contest from Kolar, which is being opposed by D.K. Shivkumar, who says, look, a wrong message would go that a person of stature of 𝙤𝙬𝙗𝑆 wants to contest from two places. He did the same in 2018 and he lost in one place. Now, this time again, he has been forced, because the general impression is he has been forced to contest from his son's constituency, Varuna. So he wants Kolar, because somewhere along he fears that his own election may be sabotaged by people within the Congress to prevent him from. So Kolar, the Kolar's problem, it's a problem for 𝙤𝙬𝙗𝑆 that Rahul is delaying the meeting. The other worry for Karnataka Congress leaders is, with Rahul very upset with Sharad Pawar's remarks, could again take it up, could again make Adani the main issue again in Karnataka, where there is no traction, and they feel that it will be walking into the trap which the BJP would set. If you take up Adani and start attacking Prime Minister, that's the kind of battle they love, Rahul versus Prime Minister. So I think, sir, this week's development, this Pawar opening up against Rahul Gandhi, and if you look at the other events, other developments, sir, we already know Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin had directed his members of parliament not to speak on Adani issue, not to per se attack Gautam Adani, for obvious reasons, because all these similarly Mamata Banerjee, barring that Mahua Maitra, who is a kind of a rebel in the party, all other MPs have been silent on this issue, though they have joined Congress on the issue of, say, disqualification of Rahul to show some kind of semblance of opposition unity. But broadly on Adani issue, there are problems, because there even Congress chief ministers, whether it is Ashok Gehlot or whether it is Bhupesh Baghel of Chhattisgarh or Kamal Nath, they are all very close chums of Gautam Adani. And Adani has had friends in all parties. Not today, because his growth has been over last 20 years and he has had political friends. So now here is a situation where the Rahul is getting angrier and angrier at the fact that he is being isolated on this issue. And today, if you see Rahul Gandhi's tweet, he has mentioned all the leaders who have left the party and gone. And out of their names, he has taken out written these all have had an Adani influence. I cannot understand what Adani influence was there in Jyotiradiत्य Scindia leaving Congress party, or even today Rajagopalachari's grandson Kesavan joining BJP. But you can sense from that tweet of Rahul Gandhi today, he is very, very angry that leaders like Sharad Pawar are letting him down. Now, of course, there is a year to go. Sharad Pawar has again repeated his, some of these comments, today's interviews also. He doesn't seem to show that he's getting friendly towards Narendra Modi, which he will never show. But one thing is clear, if he has spoken out on the Adani issue, which means he is keeping his grounds clear, he is keeping his doors open, he's looking at all options. And I think we are going to have a lot of discussions on Pawar's moves the coming days. Shri Iyer ji.
Thank you so much, Shekhar ji. By the way, viewers, if you are wondering what it is that I'm drinking, this is a very, very beautiful drink that I got recently. It's called Girnar tea. This is made by a good friend of mine. His name is Hemant. He's a director at Girnar, the company that makes this product. If you're flying Indigo, I've experienced it in Indigo. You can get, if you ask for green tea, this is what they sell you for 100 rupees. Guess what? This box of 36 bags is only 330. You can clearly save 90 rupees if you just happen to carry 2 or 3 bags, then ask for a hot water, then put this thing in, because this has medicinal properties. It can help you fight COVID. And it's really, really good. It makes your throat feel very warm and genuinely good product. That's all I'm trying to say. Shekhar ji, Mr. Kesavan, the few times that I've had an opportunity to watch him, he comes across like a motor mouth. I really didn't see any substance in what he was trying to say. I don't think it's going to move the needle for BJP in TN that Kesavan has joined, because he never was a force to reckon with even in Congress. What do you say, sir?
Well, sir, these leaders themselves would not add anything, bring much to the BJP stable. You are right about that. But at the same time, in terms of the impact that the BJP desires, particularly with an election, a mega election in Karnataka, the message is, look, Congress is in a very bad shape. And some of these leaders who are very close to Rahul Gandhi, like Kesavan, and after all, he's he belongs to the family of Rajaji. Now, the whole idea is to give that narrative, because the BJP is very keen to show that Congress is important, but it's on the decline. So that's the kind of message they want to give. And BJP's hope is this battle that's going on in Karnataka. I mean, it's no longer silent. It's no longer, one should say that it's no longer undercurrent. Rather, it's an open battle between supporters of Siddaramaiah and D.K. Shivkumar. I mean, they are still fighting over the ticket distribution, because they want to have more of their own people as MLA, so that, when they stake claim for the leadership or the stake claim for chief minister's post, they would back them up. Now, because as the situation stands today, Shri, from what we get, Karnataka is a tough challenge for the BJP. No doubt about it. But it's equally tough for the Congress for the simple reason, one, this internal battle between Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah, and two, the whole complicated nature of the demography of Karnataka, the caste equations, all that leave a situation where even Congress, despite Congress claiming the best of situation for them, cannot cross that halfway mark on their own. And for the BJP, definitely it's an upstream battle. I mean, they are having incumbency issues. They are also having issues of identity issues, because some of their ministers have served in other parties. Some of the legislators came from the Congress, and the complaints and allegations of their 5-year rule. I mean, it's very difficult for them to defend. Only thing is, they are betting on Bommai's image, Bommai being a very soft personality. They are hoping that the internal battle in Congress would further, somehow affect its numbers. And also, sir, very interesting in Karnataka, sir, in southern Karnataka, particularly, the old Mysore belt, The battle is between Congress and JDS. There, the BJP is not in direct conflict with JDS. There are other constituencies where the fight is between BJP and Congress. But particularly in the old Mysore belt, it is JDS versus Congress. Now, JDS, sir, now is flush with resources. I understand these resources have come from KCR. KCR has provided a lot of resources to Kumaraswamy when he launched that Bharatiya, BRS party. Now, with those resources, they have been holding a number of meetings, and I believe those meetings of the Janata Dal Secular is attracting crowds. And JDS is hoping that they will, their last performance, the Lok Sabha performance was terrible. They are hoping that at least they can win up to 22 to 25 seats. And again, as the Gaudas play that game, that they can be kingmakers. That is a kind of scenario. When that kind of scenario in Karnataka, for the BJP, getting leaders in Andhra Pradesh or in Tamil Nadu or in Kerala, like A.K. Antony's son coming, it all generally to create an atmosphere where to show, look, overall the Congress is sinking. That's why people are leaving. And in Karnataka, you have a terrible fight going on between two top leaders. Sir, the other day, D.K. Shivkumar came to Delhi. He met top editors, and where he wanted to put forth his claim. When a leader of his standing, has to talk to the editors about why his claim for chief ministership is a valid one, you can understand the difficulties facing inside the party, because these are matters you have to settle inside. But then you want to meet editors and you want them to take his seriously. And I believe in that kind of interaction. There were people who were supporting Siddaramaiah. Some of these editors support Siddaramaiah. They even picked up quarrel with D.K. Shivkumar. Why are you creating a situation which is going to affect the Congress outcome in Karnataka? So that battle is real, sir. I do not know Rahul Gandhi can solve it. But what we gather is Rahul is all for Siddaramaiah, and Priyanka Gandhi doesn't want to dismiss D.K. Shivkumar's claim so lightly, because Shivkumar has been underwriting a lot of expenses of the Congress, including the Bharat Jodo Yatra. And I hear Congress leaders saying, okay, he has got a lot of resources, let him spend. But he is not a chief minister material. Sir, this battle is going to be very interesting. Is Congress going to lose Karnataka despite it being a low-hanging fruit? Because they cannot solve the situation. Now, there are other leaders also. There are leaders like Kharge, Parmeshwara. There are other leaders who are saying, look, if these two, in one den, there cannot be two lines. If they are going to fight like this, what is going to happen to all of us? So this is one scene. Now, the BJP's hope, their hope of all hope is JDS, cuts into the Congress votes in that, particularly in that strong belt. And in turn, we have a scenario where probably if BJP doesn't have the numbers, they can again think of some arrangement with JDS. Of course, Karnataka BJP leaders are conveying to central BJP that they are confident that BJP can win on its own. But given the anti-incumbency issues, the Shriyaji, I do not think that's going to happen so easily for the BJP.
Yes, indeed. In fact, one saw that Yediyurappa was not allowed to address a meeting by BJP's own party members. So there is incumbency, anti-incumbency. There are strong feelings expressed against a senior leader like Yediyurappa. Sir, one question for you. D.K. Shivkumar, not that we are looking at caste, isn't he a Lingayat?
No, he is a Vokalinga. D.K. Shivkumar
is a Vokalinga. Oh, okay.
And Siddaramaiah is a Kurba. And the Vokalingas are concentrated in some districts, particularly in the old Mysore belt. That is the southern Karnataka. Whereas Kurbas are spread all over Karnataka. And Siddaramaiah is seen as a political leader. In the sense he came with that formula, which helped him become chief minister the first time. That is the Ainda. Like Chimanbhai Patel had calm formula, Kshatriyas, Adivasi, Harijans, and that formula, that acronym to show that social combination. Similarly, Siddaramaiah claims patent for Ainda, where, Alpasankhyak, that is minorities, tribals, and the backward class. Because basically, Siddaramaiah wants to mobilize the non-Vokalinga backward classes and non-Lingayats. Now, Lingayats are about 17%, Vokalingas are 15%, and Lingayats, majority of them back BJP. generally. Of course, there are Lingayat leaders in the Congress also. Now, BJP's problem is it doesn't have a very strong Vokalinga face, and it has been working hard to win over Vokalingas, because whose loyalty have been divided between the Congress and JDS, but predominantly for the JDS, because so long as the Gaudas are around, particularly the senior, former Prime Minister Devagowda, they have some kind of a loyalty towards Devagowda, because he's the tallest leader of their community who became a prime minister. So that traction is there, but what we are gathering from Karnataka ground reports is JDS has been having good reception in its meetings, no doubt about it. But at the same time, one has to see, there are usually problems in the JDS, the way they decide tickets. You would recall Devagowda's grandson himself, mentioned that my grandfather, practiced the suitcase politics. You remember when he was denied ticket. Now, this time also, sir, there is a problem between Kumaraswamy's family and Revanna's family. Revanna is his brother. Between the elder brother and younger brother, there is a problem. And the whole problem is the patriarch, Devagowda, is trying to, solve that problem. Because Revanna's wife, she is also very assertive. Similarly, Kumaraswamy's wife is also very assertive. Now, that is why the Prime Minister keeps saying,
which wife of Kumaraswamy, sir? Please clarify. Which wife?
The official one. The official one.
Anita.
and not his broader alliances that Kumaraswamy is known for. So you can see that you have a problem in Congress between Shiv Kumar and Siddaramaiah. There is another problem in JDS. Of course, BJP with so many of its leaders, particularly ticket distribution, is also a challenge for BJP. So this is one election, Shekhar Iyer, where nobody is sure to say that Congress will get a complete majority on its own and form government. Because the BJP to have a complete majority form government is rather out of question on this date, because till the Prime Minister hits the campaign trail and when all the tickets have been decided, what kind of, are they bringing in new faces? Are they dropping the old ones? Because old ones carry a baggage of anti-incumbency issues.
For those of you who might be wondering, who is Siddaramaiah? He was a very tall leader in JDS. Then when he realized that Devagowda was going to promote his son, he decided to part company, and that's how he ended up in Congress. But before all these things, they were all in Janata Party, of which Dr. Subramaniam Swamy was the president. Do watch his My Experiences or Swamy Remembers series. He remembers about Devagowda and how Devagowda became the prime minister. Very interesting, fascinating episode. Don't miss that. It was a very funny episode, I thought. But because Swamy really liked Devagowda as a prime minister, he said this man was really good. Let's see how this thing plays out. Sir, my experience is that Karnataka today is being ruled by real estate people. They will do what suits their interests best. In 1995, I had just started out doing India operations in Bengaluru, and we had sublet portion of somebody's office to do our operation. We were very, very small at that time. I mean, this is an interesting story. You need to listen to this. Then what happened was, Devagowda's very close confidant was the person who was running the bigger complex. So every time there had to be confabulations. In other words, some sort of a consensus has to be reached. It will all happen in this office. They had a fairly big meeting room and everybody would troop in. See, I was from US and I was working crazy hours because I was still adjusting to time zones and things like that. So we would work sometimes late. Suddenly you will see all these big cars come in and people will just come and sit and do. Sometimes I used to watch even Congress people. See, that time JDS was already formed. Congress people will also come in. The question is negotiating, because Congress went out of power and they were saying, look, I have all these investments that I want you to just let it go through. Don't stop these things. All conversations in English. 1995. I'm telling you, in terms of politics, Karnataka politicians are the most evolved because they know how to protect their interests. 95 is important because 95, the big the money thing was just getting started, outsourcing services and all that stuff. Even then, they knew exactly how to go about doing this business. So what we see above and what we are going to see below are two different things. And I haven't seen what Mr. Chidambaram is up to, because according to Dr. Swamy, Chidambaram owns 1/6 of the useful real estate in Bengaluru. What is he doing these days, sir?
Well, sir, Chidambaram has been rather adopting a low profile, I must say, because
But
of
Shivkumar
course
is his right-hand man. Bagman was
he,
Shivkumar.
no, because Chidambaram, I understand, and his son, they are not very happy with way things are happening in the Congress under Rahul Gandhi. And we recently saw a picture where Rahul Gandhi was stepping into Parliament House, and Chidambaram's son Karthik was coming out. Rahul Gandhi gave a royal ignore to Chidambaram's son, and
I saw that.
Chidambaram's son tried to I don't know, they try to say hi to him or try to handshake with him or whatever. But one could see that Rahul Gandhi's particularly unhappiness with all the seniors is these days getting more pronounced, and seniors particularly are now realizing that is Ghulam Nabi Azad has chronicled all that has happened under since Sonia Gandhi came, and then Rahul Gandhi, and here Ghulam Nabi Azad has been giving interviews, sir, left, right, and center, where he has been saying, how Rahul Gandhi messed up one matter after another. This is also an interesting development, political development of the week that is just going by, which is Ghulam Nabi Azad, sir. And Ghulam Nabi Azad, that is why when we started this discussion today with Sharad Pawar, it's also interesting to note Ghulam Nabi Azad's, the timing of his his statements and interviews, and coinciding with his book launch, where he talks about how repeatedly we were led into situations because of Rahul Gandhi. We were caught in situations because of Rahul Gandhi, and despite best of our understanding, best of insight, because of our experience in dealing these matters, we were helpless. And the reason he makes it very clear, that is because Sonia Gandhi completely left the matters to Rahul Gandhi. Whether Rahul Gandhi is Congress president or not, even today the situation is, you may have Mallikarjun Kharge as the Congress president, but everything is decided by Rahul Gandhi. And
Sir,
he is the final word.
Yeah, sir, one small thing. We have a small video to share to our viewers. Let's just watch this one.
Oh, you got the video of what we were just discussing.
Sir, he is my best friend, sir. Without Karthi Chidambaram, what? I have nothing. Viewers, there is. Go ahead.
Kesavan, sir, that is why Kesavan himself may not be of a much electoral value to the BJP, but leaders like Kesavan only reflect what people like Chidambaram's son and other young leaders are feeling. They feel that by the time 2024 election take place, what will be the bargaining capacity of the Congress in a state like Tamil Nadu, and how many seats are DMK willing to concede this time? Because the impression that DMK also, people in the DMK also feel is, look, whatever may be the Congress may be on the decline, but we have to ensure that we win as many number of seats as possible under our symbol, so that we get a bargaining position in the next government formation. In case a situation comes where the BJP doesn't have enough numbers. So every party, sir, in Tamil Nadu also, they are beginning to see. Sir, very interestingly, I heard recently that when Akhilesh Yadav met M.K. Stalin recently in Chennai, he seems to have conveyed to Stalin that, look, Congress is on the decline. We'll have to look for a new centripetal point, or we'll have to come together. We cannot no longer count on Congress to do anything big or grand for the sake of opposition unity. And the buzz is that Akhilesh Yadav counseled Stalin, do not waste too much of energy on the Congress. And similarly, we are seeing Mamata Banerjee also says, sir, all their reservation about the Congress has a lot to do with the leadership of the Congress, as exemplified by the acts of Rahul Gandhi. So you can already see a sense of dismay and over the way the Congress has conducted itself under Rahul Gandhi. And
Sir, you have.
uh,
Go ahead,
yes,
sir.
sir.
Go ahead, sir. Finish your thought.
No,
Finish your thought. Yeah.
no, that is why even in Karnataka, the leaders are trying to convey. See, they cannot say Rahul Gandhi, don't come to Karnataka. We can handle it ourselves. So, but if you are coming, and if you have to, and of course, Siddaramaiah would want to convey the message that Rahul's good wishes are with him, and he is the most fancied chief ministerial aspirant. But the fear is if Rahul Gandhi comes and again he uses the election rallies in Karnataka to attack the prime minister, they fear the issues on which they have built up a narrative in Karnataka against the BJP government, that will go for a toss.
Speaking of Gandhis, sir, there has been a rumor persistent now that Varun Gandhi is going to move to Samajwadi Party. He's been writing some articles off and on. As last known, he's still with BJP. Do you think that will make an impact in the overall politics of the country? And if so, how?
Well, sir, Varun Gandhi must have known by this time that it's quite possible he and his mother may not get a ticket, a BJP ticket to contest again, because consistently Varun Gandhi has been, at it through the COVID period and then subsequently also. And my information is both the mother and son have been in touch with Samajwadi Party leaders. And Varun Gandhi was at one point interested in joining the Congress, and even Priyanka Gandhi was very keen because he has a very good equations with his cousin Priyanka Gandhi, and she was very keen he should come over. And there was a time when he joined BJP, Sonia Gandhi even tried to convey to Varun, that what are you going to do with that party? But then we saw a face of Varun Gandhi where, as they say, Naya Musalman Jada Pyaj Khata hai. So he joined the BJP, and then he started making all those very, very virulently communal speeches, which actually upset even Priyanka Gandhi. I am told Priyanka Gandhi apparently counseled Varun Gandhi. Okay, you have joined the BJP, but don't make those kind of speeches. The speeches where he took a very extremist position, I must say. Particularly regarding the issue of the how one should handle the minority issues and all that. And then Varun Gandhi has consistently worked since then to improve his image. You would have seen articles with his byline in several newspapers talking about water conservation, about unemployment issue, about problems faced by the farmers. So you can see he has tried to undergo image change. But recently, when Rahul Gandhi was asked about Varun Gandhi's entry into Congress, he made it. Rahul Gandhi made it very clear that he is not interested in his cousin coming into the party. He said, "Look, his ideology is different because he is in BJP." Because the question asked was whether Varun Gandhi is coming to BJP. And Rahul Gandhi's answer was, since he is there in the BJP and he has that BJP tag, so his ideology, that means his adherence to RSS ideology. Now, Varun Gandhi's problem is, sir, because Varun Gandhi doesn't have a great equations with Rahul Gandhi. And he doesn't think much of Rahul Gandhi's style of functioning or whatever has happened in the Congress under Rahul Gandhi. But so therefore, I think the options for the Varun Gandhi and Maneka Gandhi, I think, are limited, because if they decide to leave BJP, which they are likely to, because there was a talk of Varun Gandhi leaving before the assembly elections. But somehow I think Varun Gandhi decided to buy time, and maybe Lok Sabha elections could be the time he could change, because the way Varun Gandhi has conducted himself also, one can see that though he has not directly attacked the prime minister, but all his tweets, all his articles are very clear that Varun Gandhi is preparing for options outside the BJP, and it cannot be the Congress, because Rahul Gandhi has already rather shut the door for Varun Gandhi.
So we'll have to wait and see, and we still don't know what kind of a grip he will have on the ground. That is another litmus test. It's all great to have a Gandhi name, but what does it translate itself into on the ground is something that has to be seen. So let's wait and see how that goes out. Sridharji, let's take some questions now. I'm sorry, not Sridharji. Shekharji, let's take some questions now. I'm sorry about that. PKPB, thank you, PKPB. Sir, we believe me, BJP will lose Karnataka. They are digging graves for themselves by antagonizing Kannadiga pride.
Well, there are several issues on which even BJP leaders feel that they have not handled the situation correctly. Though the very fact that Yediyurappa was asked to step down, then Bommai was brought in. Of course, Bommai is again choice of Yediyurappa. Bommai is a very soft personality. But then these 5 years, that has gone by, and those 5 years, the kind of issues that has been thrown up, and largely because the BJP observed a lot of people from other parties. That's why I said many of the BJP leaders have a background which is itself, I would say, creates an identity issue. Because whether he is a true BJP or... That is why one of the campaign elements of BJP this time in Karnataka is, you give us complete majority so that we don't have to depend on people from other parties through some operation, Lotus operation or Jasmine operation, to get people to our side. So the BJP feels that the nature of mandate in Karnataka has been such that they emerged twice as the single largest party. But last time also, the first time they could manage. But second time, all these parties came together, and in which I believe last time in 2018, Sitaram Yechury played a role, bringing Siddaramaiah and Kumaraswamy. But said the bitterness of that experiment, when Kumaraswamy was chief minister and Siddaramaiah was outside the government, that bitterness, and finally the collapse of the Kumaraswamy government, because people started leaving Congress as well as JDS. Somewhere along the Gowdas feel that Siddaramaiah pulled down the Kumaraswamy government because he could not become chief minister. And the Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi wanted somehow to prevent the BJP from coming to power. So that experiment has failed, and that left a bitter, taste for Siddaramaiah. So this time what we are seeing is, in the event of a hung assembly, the probability of BJP, JDS coming together is much higher than Congress and JDS coming together, because of the bitter experience of the just few years back.
Chaitanya Takli wants to know, will Sisodia be banned from contesting elections?
Well, that particular case in which Sisodia has been booked has a long way to go, because till it reaches the final stage and a conviction is handed. But definitely that this particular case, the excise scam, the liquor thing, has shaken the Aam Aadmi Party like anything, because even in the denial of bail to Sisodia, the judge has made some prima facie observations as to the seriousness of the scam that is under investigation, which has been presented to the court, and how Sisodia cannot be enlarged on bail, cannot be released on bail.
One request to all our viewers, if you could also add your name in Devanagari, that will really help me pronounce it correctly. See, Takli, Tukli, I don't know. I don't want to pronounce it incorrectly. So if you could just add at the side of your name in brackets the Devanagari version, then I can precisely pronounce it. I really would like to do that part so that I don't make a mess of pronouncing your names. Magnet Ranga wants to know, Namaskaram, sir. Rahul is periodically obsessed with one subject or the other. It was Rafael some time ago. All his obsessions fizzle out, and worse, they boomerang. Would that happen about Adani too?
Well, at the moment, it looks like this Adani issue, the way, forget the challenge it poses for BJP or the Prime Minister. But definitely it has affected the relationship between the Congress and other parties. Though they were, if you look at it, as I said earlier, these other parties have been supporting, have been trying to put up a semblance of an opposition unity to show that they are opposed to Modi, and they keep claiming that there are dangers to democracy because of BJP being in power. All that blah, 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 blah is there. But when it comes to specifics, they are not too happy that, you are targeting one industrialist. And also, Sir, there was a time when Indira Gandhi used to only depend. There were three people she used to abuse: Tata, Birla, and America. They were in all her meetings. I'm talking of the period of the Garibi Hatao period, the slogan that clicked for her and brought her to power. So Tata, Birla, America is okay in that era, where. But today, just to target one particular industrialist at the cost of the inability to raise other issues, because there are other issues they could have gone and they could have made some intact, because unemployment remains an issue, inflation remains an issue, there are other pressing issues, urban issues, farmers problems. There are several things which the Congress could have concentrated, but they did do it, because Rahul was obsessed with this Adani issue. And I believe Rahul has been briefed by some people who for a living target Adani, and they run websites, they keep focus on the growth of the Adani. These are part of the corporate battles that are going on. But Rahul Gandhi probably was misled into believing this is something that can pin down Prime Minister Modi. But the same thing happened with the Rafale case also. See, Rafale, he straight away started saying Prime Minister Chor hai. Sir, once you have called somebody Chor, there is nothing else further to say, unless you come up with some hard evidence and do something. The same thing is happening here. And Rahul Gandhi still feels he is right. And Rahul Gandhi still feels that he doesn't mind losing his Lok Sabha seat. Now, if a person is of that particular, has that particular approach, come what may, I don't mind losing this or losing that. Such a person is calling shots in a party, a political party. A political party, it has to win elections. A political party must have a strategy. A political party must have an alternative strategy. And so there are issues in which they could have decided, look, these are not the issues we are going to just keep focusing on. Even for India-China thing, I mean, it's not helping the Congress. Okay, there may be areas where you feel the Modi government did not handle it well, or probably could have been more tougher. But that's all right. But then again, you have your own problems. You have had that agreement with China's Communist Party. You haven't said a word. Sir, today you are changing another. The BJP strategy today, you find they are again going back on the National Herald issue. Are you raking up this Adani issue because you're talking of dangers to democracy? But what about National Herald issue? What about Bofors? So all these old things will come. I personally feel, sir, I mean, now that 10 years of, it's 10 years, it's going to be 10 years next year since Modi, government came to power. There was enough time to reorganize the Congress all over the country. There was enough time for Congress, to actually think of alternative issues. And there was enough time to win back the centrist space, which the Congress has ceded. Because Congress was known as a centrist party. Because I remember whenever those days were during Narasimha Rao's time, there was one particular minister I used to ask him, what is your stand on this or that stand on a particular issue? He used to joke and tell me, Shekhar, we don't want stand. All I know is cycle stand, car stand, auto stand. We don't have any stand. Because that we go with, what is practical, what works now, rather than, getting boxed into corners. But post Sonia Gandhi, rise of Sonia Gandhi and rise of Rahul Gandhi, the centrist position, Congress from centrist to rather, bordering on sometimes even radical left.
Yes.
And that is not clicking in this country, sir. That is not clicking. People, I mean, how do you explain now you are attacking Adani? Your own governments have agreements. Even a leftist government like Pinarayi Vijayan has an agreement with Adani to develop their port. I mean, how do you... And also, sir, Gautam Adani has had a long relationship with political parties. Obviously, he is also going to come with some counter strategy. And probably Sharad Pawar's statements are a beginning of that strategy, because after all, he also would be having some strategy, because he has been facing a lot of political targeting on himself. So therefore, I feel this obsession, a political leader, if he has obsession, then he is bound to make mistakes. That's what we are seeing in the case of Rahul Gandhi.
Yes, indeed. I'm hoping to bring one of the erstwhile Gandhi Rajaji families, whether it is Rajmohan Gandhi or Kesavan, on our channel, because in my opinion, these people were statesmen. Unfortunately, they didn't have the presence on the ground, and that's what really hampered them. So if you go back to 67 elections, third, 52, 57, 62, Congress had come to power three times, and 67 was becoming difficult because it was a new face, Indira Gandhi, and she had somehow become the prime minister. There was a vote. Morarji Desai lost to her, and I think that was Kamaraj who did the pulling from the behind, hoping that she would listen to him, but she turned on him. And in 69, the interesting thing that happened was that she nationalized all the banks. Now, this particular move, and after that, I think maybe after that the Privy Purse abolition came. But nationalization of banks, that's when Morarji, I think, resigned as deputy prime minister and finance minister. The Supreme Court struck it down, and she went back and somehow managed to overturn the Supreme Court ruling. See, that is where, in my opinion, Indian democracy really got hurt. Because after that, see what happened was Swatantra was the second biggest party in 1967. And she had to break that. And how did she break that? She saw that all the erstwhile princes were the ones who were funding the Swatantra party. So, abolished Privy Purse. Suddenly, Swatantra got its legs cut from underneath it. And DMK backstabbed Swatantra. They completely went back and forgot about Rajaji, even though if Rajaji had not supported them, they would have not come to power. So there is a lot to learn from this family. I'm hoping to, get one or two of them to come on our channel and explain what happened in the backside. So you have any ideas? Please, we can talk about this in the next episode, Shekharji, because you have to understand when a democracy gets weakened, and that is the point that you need to try and see. Let's not make this happen again.
Definitely, sir, because the Congress party, Indira Gandhi, of course, gave that left turn. She had come out of the syndicate's stranglehold on her. And since she charted a course and she was dependent on the numbers that the left provided, since she was heading a minority government in a post that split era. So you saw a growing influence of the left on the Congress party on Indira Gandhi's policies. But also by the time, when she returned to power, then you had the emergency, and then 77, then she was out of power, then 80 when she returned. And when she realized the difficulties country was facing, huge, foreign exchange issues. That's the time when Pranab Mukherjee became prime minister and they negotiated IMF loan.
Finance minister, yeah.
As finance minister, R. Venkatraman was there. Now, and of course, then subsequently it was Pranab Mukherjee. Now, that was the beginning, I think, of realization in the Congress that all these left, too much of trying to please the left or to appearing to be very pro-left, that doesn't help, because the world was changing, the new challenges were happening. And finally, sir, when you had after Indira Gandhi government, then you had Rajiv Gandhi's government, and Rajiv Gandhi was, in fact, he took a lot of steps towards the reforms, and many of those reforms covered different sectors.
We seem to have momentarily lost Shekharji. Shekharji, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, he's back. Shekharji, yeah. Next question, please. PKPV again. Believe me, BJP will lose Karnataka. I mean, it's an observation. I don't know. We can agree or disagree.
Well, we have been saying that BJP is facing a very serious challenge in Karnataka, and there are innumerable problems. There are difficulties. There are anti-incumbency issues. But at the same time, it's not pretty rosy for the Congress. And we have also explained why is it so. So therefore, how is it going? Because my own answer is it could be a hung assembly kind of a scenario where people will look for new partners to stake claim to form government. That's that's what I feel could happen given the various factors at work in Karnataka today.
Ramesh wants to know, is Pawar for power through Shinde act as Uddhav in Maharashtra in future politics? I think what he's trying to say is he going to shift Shiv Sena alliance?
Well, the lot of rumors have been going on in Maharashtra, sir. For instance, there was, for the last 24 hours, there was a lot of buzz about Ajit Pawar, that Ajit Pawar is missing in action, what has happened to him, and whether a similar thing he had because there was a lot of in the social website they were saying, where is Ajit Pawar, what is happening? But today Ajit Pawar came out and support of Sharad Pawar's statement on the Adani issue, saying what Sharad Pawar says is the policy of our party. Even as Congress and other parties were unhappy with Pawar's statement, Ajit Pawar is Pawar Nationalist Congress Party will definitely examine its options. After all, after the last assembly elections, Pawar was in talks with BJP leaders. Before that, Ajit Pawar broke ranks, with Sharad Pawar, and overnight you had that swearing-in ceremony. And finally, Pawar didn't want that arrangement. Then Ajit Pawar could not could not organize those numbers. We have seen it. So Sharad Pawar is unpredictable. So is NCP is unpredictable. And so is the alliance arrangement in Maharashtra, sir.
Next question, please. Partha wants to know, what is the future of Sachin Pilot? With the slow exit of AAP and Congress, who can fill the role of opposition in 2024, 2029?
Well, I feel, sir, Sachin Pilot lost a good opportunity to challenge Ashok Gehlot. I mean, he took his rebellion to a point, then backed down because he was promised by Priyanka Gandhi that they will definitely install him as CM in the future date, at least before the next assembly elections. Now, I don't see that happening now, and I can understand the frustrations of leaders supporting Sachin Pilot, because in the last elections, a lot of credit was given to Sachin Pilot because he was the PCC chief. He traveled extensively, and finally, it appeared that he probably believed that having worked hard for the Congress victory in Rajasthan, he would be made chief minister. But then Ahmed Patel and other senior Congress leaders prevailed upon Sonia Gandhi and told them it is better to have Ashok Gehlot like an old hand there, so that their commercial interests are also taken care of. So that is how Sachin Pilot lost. Now, subsequently, his rebellion and the way Ashok Gehlot has completely, warded off any challenge from Sachin Pilot, looks like nothing is going to happen in the next, in the run-up to the assembly elections end of this year. So therefore, I think Sachin Pilot, well, after the assembly elections, where the BJP is most likely to, again, come back to power, one doesn't know what is the kind of leadership scenario that will be there in the Congress. Of course, Sachin Pilot is on record repeatedly saying at no cost he would ever join the BJP.
Dictator 2321 or 12321. Namaste, sir. There is whispers about Himachal government as well. Your views?
Well, too early, sir, to expect any changes in Himachal Pradesh. And but already people are feeling, they came with a lot of promises, and they are waiting. I think the honeymoon period is still on, because people expect, okay, this government came with so many promises, there would be some deliverables. But I think by end of this year, one can get a more clear picture as to how the Himachal Pradesh government under the Congress is functioning.
Arun Srinivas Iyengar. Sri Iyer bringing in googly Iyer and scoop Rajaji in shows makes it more interesting. Thank you, Arun. Next question, please. Venkat Raghavan Venkatraman wants to know, is Congress strategy to throw Rahul to the jail so that it won't campaign in Karnataka and subsequently Lok Sabha elections? This is another googly question.
The googly question, but because, this question has come because people were wondering, with best of legal brains available to the Congress, how did they allow a Surat court, to give a verdict which is disproportionate to the offense, and finally ending up with Rahul Gandhi losing that membership, because the maximum punishment allowed under a defamation law was handed to Rahul Gandhi. So what did all the legal brains were during that period? Did they not counsel Rahul Gandhi how to manage this case? I mean, offer some apology and say, I didn't mean this or I didn't mean that, and settle the case. Or why was it allowed? Or was Rahul Gandhi so foolhardy that he said nothing doing, I'll face it, I'll go to jail? And because there was a lot of talk. In fact, the first reactions to the his conviction and subsequent disqualification of Lok Sabha was this: did Congress leaders actually push him into that situation, or they withheld their good counsel? Finally Rahul Gandhi, landing up in that kind of situation.
Interesting. That tells you a lot about what's happening behind the scenes. Rahul Rathod wants to know, Raga should have disqualified after first defeating him in 2024 elections and then convicted in National Herald BJP has unnecessarily given him victim card chance. He says he should have been
I mean, they should have waited
after.
long. But I think, sir, this particular case, from what I can make out, this is, I mean, that the case would take such a turn, I believe even BJP leaders did not expect. They, at best, they thought the court would direct Rahul Gandhi to offer an apology. They did expect, but what I am told is Rahul Gandhi kept up that stance, that he won't apologize, he won't. I think probably that the hard stand that he took, it also, had its impact in the way the court looked at the matter. I think normally these cases, what happens is the whoever is accused offers an apology and says, look, I didn't mean this, and he's let off. But this is an unusual case where, Rahul Gandhi ended up saying, I am not a Savarkar to apologize. Rahul Gandhi was on a trip subsequent to this case without realizing that in politics, sometimes you will have to make some maneuvers and you don't land up in a mess and then expect everybody to rally around you and make a hero out of you. Sir, at the same time, from the BJP side, they also realized they wanted this. I mean, they would prefer this situation because normally everybody, the common logic shows, why give him that victim card. But what they realize is, even if Rahul plays a victim card, it's not going to work. That confidence the BJP has,
Yes,
in
indeed.
Rahul Gandhi's abilities.
Now, I think he has changed his approach now. I think he has moved the higher court, hasn't he? Now?
Yeah, he has. He has filed his appeal in the district sessions court because the Supreme Court directed them to, go through go on a appeal and come. So after district sessions court, he can go to Gujarat High Court, and if it doesn't get relief there, he can.
Next question, please. Kaushik wants to know why Annamalai was not present in Tamil Nadu when Prime Minister visited today.
Well, Kaushik sir, I think, on the surface, the argument that is being, the explanation that is being offered is Annamalai was busy in Karnataka. He is co-in charge for the Karnataka elections. But definitely there is something happening in Tamil Nadu BJP, because I believe, because it's unusual for Annamalai not to be present when the Prime Minister is there. At the same time, I think some central BJP leaders are not very happy with Annamalai. There are some reasons as to they feel his approach and the way he has been handling the media and other things. There have been some issues, but I do not see much serious issue that BJP will think at this stage of a very leadership change in Tamil Nadu.
I mean, he has brought them thus far solely on his shoulders, sir. I mean, that will be very stupid on their part.
Very stupid.
I think this is a game. That's all I can say.
But something is happening, sir. Something is going on. I mean, how serious it is, and because I get a feedback from central BJP leaders who were earlier very praisey. who were heaping praises on Annamalai, of late are not so happy with Annamalai, saying that he's going beyond the brief. Because on matters whether it's alliance with the ADMK or with that he's taking things too far. We are not ready for that situation. Probably there is a difference of opinion between the central leadership and the way Annamalai is conducting issues, particularly his pronouncements on the future course of the BJP.
My feedback from the ground, having toured Tamil Nadu quite a bit, I talk to people. What do you think of the BJP ADMK combined? What happens? And the average voter is pretty shrewd. They read the tea leaves very well, and some of the things that came up are very unexpected, sir. They say we like BJP, but we don't want them to impose Hindi on us. See this subliminal messaging that BJP, which is it wasn't even the one that imposed Hindi. It was Congress which did that, right? But somehow this connection has stuck with people. How do you explain to them that it's not changed? It has never changed. Why do other states don't complain? Why are you only complaining? Somehow this messaging needs to improve. I mean, you have to one-on-one win many arguments, to the Shekharji. You have to win one-on-one, and for that you need 3 or 4 more people to really take it on and say, listen, this is what it is. This is what it is. That communication stuff is still work in progress. I think that's where things are a little bit, settling down. We'll see how it goes. Thank you so much, Shekharji. That was the last question. We made it, and we'll be back again next Saturday, same time. And Shekharji, namaskar again. Hopefully, we'll have a continuous set of programs. Take care, sir. And
Thank you.
viewers,
Thank you very much.
stay safe. Yeah, thank you, sir.